Hey guys, thanks for joining me, and if you like what you see, please subscribe.
Hello and welcome to Sharpens. Today I am reviewing this 229 from Chavez. I got this from Tan Nguyen, which is kind of like John Smith in Vietnam, this name. So it's very foreign to us, but in Vietnam, every other guy is named this. Tan Nguyen, which is how you pronounce it too. I looked it up. I know a lot of YouTubers have a problem with looking up how to pronounce a name, but it's really easy. You just put into Google, how do you pronounce, and then the name. So this is a dealer, and he deals with Chavez as well as a bunch of other people, and this is his website. Really cool. He did a run of 25 of these black coated the DLC versions. Is it DLC or is it? Sorry, I'm looking it up. It's not DLC. It's something else. But anyway, it's coated and it's totally blacked out. This Chavez came out recently, and what's really cool about this 229 version is it's got the Kickstop on it. The Kickstop, unlike a traditional flipper, you don't have this tab here coming out on the other side. So what I mean by that is, like, here's a flipper, here's the tab, and when I open it, you'll see the tab has now moved down here. That doesn't happen here. This comes over here. What's happening is this is a kick and a stop, so kick stop, right? So as it comes into place, you'll see it comes around and then it pushes it out, right? And then when it goes down, I'm gonna just disengage it. The blade comes out, and then this piece slams down over here and then becomes the stop. Really cool. Really cool. The technology for this, for this, and here you can see the symbol for Kickstop, was licensed from Lee Williams. He's the one who developed this, and he's now licensed it to a couple of different people. I think this was really cool to include it with this particular knife. This blacked out version, I like. Most of the versions, this is one of 25. Most of these versions are very plain titanium, not done at all. And I think it's a great platform to get customized, to send it into the way of the knife, EDC Gearhouse, or other people who can customize the titanium for you and make it look nice. I like this blackout version. I think it's pretty nice. I was thinking about getting something etched on here, some kind of pattern or something. This is plain titanium. Some people have a problem with that. They'd rather have any kind of diamond coat or any kind of texturing on here. I agree. That would have been pretty cool. This is pretty much a slab of aluminum. And if you look on the inside, it's basically not milled out either, which makes this a fairly heavy knife. So this comes in at 6.6 ounces, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, if you look at this flipper here, this is coming at 3.3, and it's got basically the same blade length, but it's made out of fiberglass, or this is G10, and like that. This blade is also super thick. It's M390, and I really appreciate that they've put the M390 here on the sharpening choil. Is that a sharpening choil? I'm not sure what that is. Sharpening choil is basically non-existent, which is a little bit of a knock against it, I guess. But when the M390 then, when you close it, is right there, which I find that to be cool. You've got Chavez's symbol here, and then you've got Lee Williams Kickstop here. This is very nice in the hand. It fits really well. This jimping up here is kind of aggro, definitely a little sharp on the corners. Not so much so that I'm going to complain about it, but it would have been nice if this right here had just been rounded off just a little bit more. Hollow grind, you can see, and a dual grind as well, which I find really cool. I think this is a really nice way to grind your blade, and I wish more people did it. This is the Tonto version. The other version almost looks exactly the same. I think at this point right here, it's a little bit farther up. Other elephant or skull in the room, of course, is this clip. Some people really hate it. And when he first came out with the Kickstop, people complained so much that he started selling an alternate version of the clip, and then he just started including it. So this is how it would look with that. And I think I'm going to try it out with that. I don't mind the skull at all. I think it's kind of nice. And I like how they've done these extra lines right here to give the skull a little definition. And in certain kinds of light, it really is very attractive. The hardware protrudes out of the scales a little bit. And I don't know. I kind of wish that it wasn't that way, that there wasn't this crown. I wish that it was more inset. I also think it's interesting that you've got, it's not free spinning, the pivot, but you've got titanium, or you've got Torx on both sides, which means you can kind of adjust the centering, micro adjust the centering by adjusting the torque on each one of these pivots. I think that's pretty cool, but I just wish it was not proud. These are kind of pricey. They're made by Riot. Riot's finishing is out of this world and might be the best OEM in the country or in the world right now, at least as far as OEMs that people can get their knives licensed at and made at, right? So that's pretty cool. But it's pretty pricey. This cost me $425, $450. This, of course, was one of 25, so at least it's an exclusive. And I think it would be pretty easy to resell this if I ever wanted to. When you're opening it, you do have to pay attention to this. This is a frame lock, obviously, and if you put pressure on the frame lock, it's going to be much harder to open. You don't need a wrist or anything. This definitely, comes out when you light switch it. Not a problem there. But it's beefy, it's big, it weighs a lot, it looks super cool. I like this version of it. I think that it's a fair price for what you're getting. I don't think that it's necessarily overpriced, but I do think it's a lot of money to spend for a knife that is so beefy, that's going to take up a lot of pocket room. This is a knife that you should get if you really like this aesthetic and you think it speaks to you. You will not be disappointed. If you're on the fence, I would say just give it a pass. I definitely will be keeping it and keeping it in my collection, but this is not everyone's cup of tea. I do think, though, you should check out this guy's website, and you should go ahead and, see if there's anything on there that you do want. I think that this might be a nice 229. They dropped so many of these. They're still available. I'm really surprised about how many were dropped. So I would not necessarily buy one of these thinking that you're going to be able to flip it or hold on to it for a few months and then sell it again. I think that this knife is going to perhaps retain its value, but that is the best you will be able to hope for. If you think that you're going to be able to buy one of these knives and then sell it for a few hundred extra down the road, I don't think that that's going to be the case. It seemed to me that they flooded the market with these. So get a customized or a limited run version of these at one of your favorite knife shops. And I think that you would have a better chance of maybe selling it down the road for a little bit of extra money if you just wanted to check it out and then pass it on. The spacer back here is also fully titanium. I like that. This knife feels incredibly rigid. I mean, it's not going anywhere. I would not have a problem batoning with this, for instance, not with this frame lock. I won't do that, of course, but if I was in a survival situation, I had to, I would. The lockup on it is pretty much perfect as far as, it's at that 25% mark. With lockups like these, when they are on this side, if they do fail, they're going to fail like this, and they're going to come back. Now, I don't think that this lock, because of the kickstop and the way it works, you'd have to basically break the pin that's holding this kickstop. I don't think that that's happening. Or the lock would have to fail. And if you were, bashing on this a lot, then this would eventually maybe come out here. But because of the way the faces are interlocking, in theory, that's not going to happen. It also has a preventer, like right. It has a pin it has a little tab back here that's attached to the screw to keep your frame lock from being able to push it too far. Is that true? Oh yeah, that's true. But it does go beyond the face of the lock a little bit if you put a lot of pressure on it. But yeah, that's true. So anyway, this feels like it's running on phosphor bronze washers, and you can see them right there. Not bearings, and you can see that the Kickstop actually has little baby washers in there too. I haven't taken this apart yet. Have seen no need to. I did put a little bit of oil in here on the washers, but that's about it. It seemed to me like it came just completely dry, and I did adjust the pivot tightness on this. So overall, that's my thoughts about this. Get it if it speaks to you. Don't get it if it doesn't speak to you. I think you'll be able to get your money back out of it if you decide to sell it down the line, especially if you get a limited edition version. I love the Kickstop. I think that the Kickstop should be included in more knives and should be licensed more widely for a variety of different knives. Not having this flipper tab here is really awesome. Being able to hold it here, you can choke up on it a little bit here, but not really. This jimping is almost actually useless because you're not able to choke up on it. I guess it's not useless if you're cutting like this. And support this guy. Look him up, Ton Nguyen. And that's all I've got for you guys today. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. I'd really appreciate that as well. And I will see you guys next time on Sharp Ends. Bye-bye.